Hello, my name is Matt Riggi. Today is May 1st, 2013. This is a video for the class of Nervous Systems and Behavior in Psychology at Virginia Tech. I'm going to talk really quick for a couple minutes about the neuroscience of forgetting. Back in 1955, there was a neurosurgeon who went by the name of Wilder Penfield. This guy was doing research on epilepsy. So he had a couple patients come in, and he would shock their brain with tiny little electric shocks. So it wasn't painful for them at all. And they had to be awake during this procedure. So he had them recall whatever experience they had, while he was shocking them. And what ended up happening is some of these patients actually relived some of their memories. One of the patients recalled being at a baseball game, and sitting in the stands and watching the two teams play, while another patient remembered being thrown back into a concert hall where he was listening to music. So this points to the fact that electricity has something to do with memory. And I know we talked about in class memory consolidation, where memories get pretty much ingrained, into the DNA, into the neurons. So what does electricity have to do with all this? I don't know. Maybe that sudden jolt of heat throughout all the different neurons and different associative cortexes. Maybe the heat is like a jump start. I'm not sure. I want to do more research into it, but it's just pretty interesting to me. He was quoted saying that all of these were unimportant events, but they were recalled with vivid detail, which is interesting to me. So I'm thinking, okay, what if he used a little bit of a higher voltage, a little bit of a greater shock? What if what would happen then? Would the memories become more vivid? Would they become even more fluid? You know what I mean? Maybe if he used a little bit of a higher voltage, they could experience more of the five senses instead of just sight. Maybe they could hear more, remember how their seat felt wherever the memory took place, smell, taste, all that stuff. Once again, electricity is very interesting when it comes to these neurons, in my opinion. And the last thing I'm going to talk about really quick is this case of a man who couldn't forget, this one guy. This is incredible. Around 1920, the guy's name was S.V. Shershevsky. I don't know how to pronounce it. He visited a Russian neuropsychologist named Alexander Luria to have his memory tested, okay? So we know that the average human can remember like 7 plus or minus 2 items, on average, right? This guy could recall 70 items in a row. If you listed off like 70 words or something, this guy could do 70 items no problem. Even, and the study said, even 15 years later. This is mind-blowing to me. I mean, I have terrible short-term memory. I mean, long-term's okay, but 70 items, that's unbelievable. Basically, one of the ways he remembered things, he used mnemonics. And he also had this condition called synesthesia, where it's like a synthesis of all your senses. So if you heard a sound, you might see a color. You might see blue for a certain kind of sound and stuff like that. So what he would do is every time the person would say a word to him or some kind of item, he would have like a collision of senses and use this to remember. Still, this is absolutely incredible to me how good this guy's memory was. So it wasn't his problem wasn't remembering things. His problem was actually forgetting. He couldn't forget anything. Now, this may kind of sound appealing, but living life in this way, having these synthesis of your senses is actually pretty detrimental to your everyday life. He was quoted saying that anytime he'd have a conversation with someone, eventually when they would speak, little images would show up in his mind, right, as words, but the words would show up as images, and they would collide together and create total chaos, and then he couldn't understand what the person was saying anymore. So he would have to stop speaking to them. So that's it. I just wanted to talk about that. Just a couple things about memory and how the brain works on forgetting things. All right, thank you.